Shalom, everybody. This is Haftarah Bo out of Jeremiah 46. If anyone wants to raise your hand or annotate on the screen, here's how you do it. And we're jumping into verse 13. Anatoly, would you like to read?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you.
Yofi.
כדבר אשר דיבר אדוני אל ירמיהו הנביא לבוא נבוכדרצר
Mm-hmm.
מלך
Uh-huh.
בבל לחקות את ארץ מצרים.
Excellent. Anatoly, is it possible for you to make a V sound? It may not be. I'm just asking.
Yes.
Okay.
V like Victor, right?
Each of the
Yeah, for
places, correct, exactly.
Hana
Each of the
V.
places that I put a V over the letter bet without a dagesh, make
Yeah,
it a V sound. Hana
yeah.
V, lavo, and
Hana V.
bave. Mhm.
Babel.
I don't know
Okay.
if you said it on Nebuchadrezzar, but it's another one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, excellent reading. And there's not too much to talk about here. This is essentially the word that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning the coming of Nebuchadrezzar. That's not the usual way to spell the guy's name, right? Usually it's spelled with an N. Uh, Not a problem. We see his name showing up
In
sometimes with an N.
Aramaic.
Right. Sometimes it shows up with a nun. Sometimes it shows up with an R, a resh. Not a big deal. It's still the same guy. And so there's this word from the Lord about Nebuchadnezzar coming to conquer Egypt. And that's what this whole section seems to be about. Lehakot, to strike, et Eretz Mitzrayim, the land of Egypt. This is a construct chain. And right. To whom is the word coming? Of
Yeah.
course,
Jeremiah. Jeremiah.
Yirmiyahu, and Jeremiah the prophet. Unless
One
there
of
were
the
any,
questions, one
go
of the
ahead.
questions I thought was how. Well, I understand the Lord's the Lord, but if Nebuchadnezzar's down in Israel, wherever Egypt, then how did the Lord know what was going on in Nebuchadnezzar's mind?
How did the Lord know what's going on in someone's heart and mind? Because he's the Lord? I don't know.
But in Nebuchadnezzar, it's the case that the distant, apart from paranormal type stuff, right? It's a case that it's hard to grasp it.
Yeah, the
But
sovereign God of all knows what happens in the heart and mind of man.
I understand.
Well, at least,
I just queried that.
okay. Did you come to any insightful conclusion?
He's the boss, he knows, but it was a case that you couldn't help but think he had a you couldn't help but think he had a telephone line straight to Nebuchadnezzar.
That's my answer. Let's see. Voldone, would you like to read, ma'am?
Jared, just quick question.
Anatoly, just a moment. Go ahead.
It's Jeremiah is theophoric name, right? Related to God,
It
Lord
appears so.
Yahweh.
Right. It
Yeah,
appears that
the first
yes,
portion
correct. It
Jeremiah.
appears that the Yahoo in Jeremiah's name is a theophoric element, meaning theos, God, phoric, how it shows in its theophoric. I think it's the way it shows up in its form, right? Like more follow. No, no,
Yeah,
that's more
what is that
phoric.
mean?
Yeah, I don't remember what the four means to carry, doesn't it? So it carries God's name or something like that. Anyway, it's theophoric,
Yeah.
yes. So then what are the first three letters? Yod Resh Mem. We can speculate, but I think the going idea is that it probably is related to Yarum or Ram or having to do with he will be lifted up. Who will? Yod He Vav He will. Um, that's the going theory. And I I go with that, but I can't help, as a linguist, I can't help but ask if we have a lengthened vowel on the resh, how, pray tell, could it ever drop to a schwa? And usually in Hebrew, that does not happen. So because I see a schwa on the resh there, it would actually make me think that this would come from a root like Yirmeh or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure I know of a root resh mem yod. Um, does anybody know resh mem yod? No, no. Now I need to go check and see if I can find it. Well, not now. There's so much to get through. So much to get through. Go back. Something to look into if somebody can find. Oh yeah, Rama. No, no, no. I'm not gonna entertain that right now. But anyway, it probably has something to do with high, exalted, lifted up, something to that degree, something to that effect. And all right, Voldane, would you like to read the next verse?
Yes.
All right, please do.
Hagidu Ve Mis Ra M Yim Ve Ha Hash Mi U Ve Mig Dor Ve Hash Mi U Ve North Uv Ta. Oh, that's a Tay.
Well, I'm circling this right here because it's an audible schwa, uve, and
Oh,
we can
okay.
tell it's schwa for audible schwa, mobile schwa for two reasons. There's a long vowel before it, and the begad kifat
Yeah.
letter after it has no weak dagesh. So
Oh,
uve
okay.
tach pans, uve
Yeah.
tach pan ches.
Pun has. Okay.
That's a foreign city in Egypt.
Okay. Imru Heat Te Ya Yaseb Veha Kan Lak Ki Ak La Hereb Se Vi Vaka.
Sivivecha. Very good. Would anyone care to venture a guess? Is this here a silent or mobile schwa?
I think it's a mobile.
Mobile
It's
schwa.
silent.
Mobile.
It's
Silent.
Ochla.
Mobile.
Ochla.
Silent.
Is it Ochla or Achela?
Okay, well, because the cherev appears to be okay, hang on, back up. We have a disjuncting cancellation mark here, which means we have to make something of a dependent clause out of the rest of this. So where's our verb? The only place the verb can be is here. And the subject then would be this, a feminine noun, irregular feminine. But if this is the feminine noun, that's the feminine verb, then it has to be a kal katal 3fs. She did it. So
Achela.
this is a kamatz. This is a mobile shva. Achela. It's basically taking the word achal, putting on the suffix a to say she did it, and then this thing drops to shva. So this was and always remains kamatz. All right. Hagidu b'mitzrayim, or hagidu v'mitzrayim v'hashmi'u v'migdol. There's another zakef katon, so we're going to put a little pause there. V'hashmi'u v'nof u'v'tach pan ches. It's kind of hard to read, but there's your halfway point. Imru, there's a revi'i or reviyah, and this is what they should say. This is an imperative, isn't it? Imru. Imperative. To whom am I speaking? Imru. Or to whom is Jeremiah speaking? With that word imru.
To them.
Would he be talking to Israel?
It would be to you all. I'm just like grammatically, what is to whom is he speaking? It would be to you all. The ooh at the end makes it 2MP, you all, imperative. Hey, you guys. And then this is what they should say. Hityatzev v'hachen lach ki achela cherev svivecha. And then there's the end of the verse. All right, so we have several proper nouns, proper location names here. We've got Migdol. Where's another one?
Nof
Memphis.
is Memphis.
Nof. Okay. This one.
Tach,
Tachpanches. Yeah, that's hard to pronounce. All three of those are proper like city names. Yeah, like you said, this one over here is Memphis, and there's another one. Oh, we haven't gotten to it yet. That's why. Never mind. Any questions on this before we move on to the next one?
No.
Who would like to read this itty bitty verse?
I'll
Can
read
I?
it. Itty bitty verse.
Go ahead.
Who?
I don't know. I heard two people. Who was the other person?
Anastasia, go. No, Anastasia's gonna.
Bavakasha.
Okay. מדוע נסחף אבירך לא עמד כי אדוני הדפו.
Excellent reading. Madua nischaf abirecha. There's the halfway point. Lo amad ki Adonai hadafo. Does anyone
Frozen.
want... Oh no, who's frozen? I don't. Uh-oh, am I frozen?
Yeah, it might be my computer. Did
Yeah.
anybody else freeze besides me for a second?
Yeah.
Okay,
You
bummer.
did too. Good. It's not my
Ugh.
computer.
Ugh, it's probably Zoom being finicky. All right, would anyone like to tell me? Well, let's start at the beginning. That one's going to be hard.
Yadeh.
Yeah,
Knowledge.
so that's kind of what I was getting at. The madua is usually explained as something like
Knowledge.
ma plus some form of yadua. And maybe, I guess, possibly the word ma should already have a dagesh. Has anyone ever noticed that when you have the word ma in front of another word that's not a guttural, it shows up with a patach and then a dagesh in the following word? It's probably because the word ma originally had a noon on it. How do we know this? Well, first off, when you see a dagesh, you suspect a missing letter. Maybe it's a noon, but also because in Hebrew, the bread from the sky was not called ma, it was called man, or in the Septuagint, manna. Maybe there was some sort of a case ending on it. And it's translated in Hebrew as, what is this stuff? So apparently ma was originally man, and so that could be one possible explanation of the dagesh, but then you also have a yod missing. And anyway, what would this be? It was to be like, what that which is known. That doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, the word madua is like why. Give me the reason. Madua nischaf. What kind of a
Nifal.
binyan? Nifal. Yeah,
Nifal.
it's got the e, a, and in fact a patach right there. So we know it's nifal, which is usually some sort of a passive voice to be swept away, as opposed to someone sweeping someone else away. That's an active voice, right? He swept them away. But in the passive, those men were, or each man was swept away. And so who was swept away? Abirecha. Abir. Oh, I love this. Okay. Does anybody know the meaning of Abram's name?
Abram.
Avram?
Father Ram. Father God.
Exalted Father.
There you
Exalted
go. There you
Father.
go. So Av or Avi, whatever, is father, and then Ram is exalted. And the Bible tells us that God changes Abram's name to,
Abraham. Hey.
and it says, your name shall be Abraham, for you will be a father of many nations. Now, the problem is the following. We know Av means father, but nowhere in any Semitic language do we have this root raham to mean multiple nations, anything like that, it usually turns into like a hamon. Anybody know the word hamon? Hama means to bustle, and then a hamon would be a crowd of people. So usually the interpreters will say father of Hamon, and then I'm left there going, what happened to the Resh? Why is there a Resh still there? What's the Resh doing? And so a second option would be that instead of being father of, exalted father or father of a Hamon, what if it is an Avar or Abir or someone who is valiant
Mm.
of many nations, of multitudes? So now he's elevated from not just the father, but now he is the valiant warrior, fighter, protector, something like that, which is exactly what we see him doing with Lot and all of the people that were stolen away. Pretty cool. Maybe, maybe not. Lo Armad, they did not or could not stand. Ki Adonai hadafo. What's the root of this verb?
I think it's Hadaf.
It is. It's a super easy one. When we see a hey at the front, we're tempted to suggest that maybe it's a he feel or a definite article or what is it called? An interrogative hey. We have all these heys at the beginning of a word, and we're like, well, is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it that? And apparently here it's the root hey, dalit, pay, and the vowels line up with he did something to, and then you have your pronominal suffix. Somebody just messaged me right before class. They said, how would you say he guarded me? I'm like, oh, that's easy. You take the word shamar.
Shamro.
Just a minute. Okay, he guarded would be shamar, right? And then if he guarded me, well, we could say he guarded him, but the question was he guarded me. So it's going to be anni as a suffix. So the anni
Yeah.
says that it was done to me. Shamarani. Well, I'm sorry, that's close, but Hebrew's going to have to fix something. Because the stress moved from here over to there, this kamatz is now too far. What happens to it? Drops. Instead of shamarani, it becomes shmarani. And in fact, this being in an open syllable will lengthen. So what we're left with is shmarani. Well, look, it's the same thing happening here. Hey doesn't like taking a shva because it's a guttural, so it takes a chataf vowel. It's still a reduced vowel. Here's the kamatz, and then here's the suffix, albeit a different one, but it's the same pattern. He did something to suffix him. So maybe Yod He Vav He did drive him out.
Hang on a second.
Hmm.
Surely because that's at the end of the clause, that is it not a pausal form?
It's not a pausal. Well, if it did have a pausal form, it would be in pausal form because of its location in the verse. You're correct about that. The question or the kicker is whether or not there is a distinguished or different pausal form for this verb. There is not. Once you add the pronominal suffix, the stress remains where it is. There's not going to be a pausal. What if you just had the word hadaf like this? Hadaf would mean he drove, like he drove out. And the stress would be here. As soon as you make it the end of the verse, this has a pausal form, which doesn't even sound different. It lengthens this vowel. Hadaf. That's it. But with that pronominal suffix on there, no, there's no special pausal form for this kind of a word.
Right, okay.
Afraid not. Afraid not. Any questions on this verse before we move on? Who wants to read next?
I'm good to go.
Mm-hmm.
הרבה כושל, גם נפל איש אל ראהו, ויאמרו קומה, קומה ונשובה אל עמנו, ואל ארץ מולדתנו, מפני חרב היונה. And it's not a dove.
It's not a dove.
No.
Yeah, when I read that, it made me rethink for a second. Was Jonah's name really Dove? Or
Yeah,
was it
that's something to think about.
or was it the one who was trying to suppress the word of God?
Ah.
Huh? Right? I mean, granted, it's
Who would
Yonah.
name their kid that, though? Really? Who
Well,
would name their child that?
let me
Well,
let
I
you
know.
let me let you in, let me let everyone in on a little secret.
I know your secret.
Yeah, well, let me just share it with everyone else.
Mhm.
Academics don't believe that the book of Jonah is historical. They think it's just a big fairy tale, and that the time that the book of Jonah was written, the city of Nineveh was nowhere near as big as the book of Job claims it to be. So it's kind of like um, this prophetic prose, almost like a fable or something, trying to teach a moral. I'm not sure that I'm completely on board with that, but the academics will tell you something like, yeah, well, if it's just a big fable, then somebody would obviously name him accordingly. Kind of like, Naval named Fool? Why is
Yeah.
why is what is it, Chilion named Finished? Why is all these why is David named Lovable? It seems like all these people have names that are just so fitting. Why is Hevel named Vapor or Vanity or Breath? Anyway, that certainly adds to the literary value of the scriptures, but I wasn't there when Jonah was written, so I can't speak authoritatively about why he was named Jonah. But yeah, apparently the root yod nun, missing yod, has to do with suppressing or oppressing or preventing or something like that, preventing somebody from doing something. And it sounded like you paused a little bit here.
That always kind of stumbles me when there's a Dalit and a Taf. I never
Sure.
know whether to kind of glum it together or make an audible schwa with the Dalit.
All right. If we go back to the time of the Masoretic scribes, let's call it, 1100s AD, this would not have been a D sound, right?
The,
It would have
the.
been a the sound, kind of like this or that. So then molavtenu is how the Masoretic scribes probably pronounced it. And then over time, the differentiation between Dalit and Valit was lost. So now you're forced to make this an audible schwa, even though in the Masorah it wasn't. So yes, you do have to say moladtenu. And pretty much in standard biblical Hebrew reading, when you have two letters that are very, very similar and one has a schwa, you're going to have to um, give it some bit of mobile schwa value. This is seen in words like hallelujah, right? Here we have what should have been, well, that's kind of a catch 22 right there. That should have been a dagesh in the lamed, but it's one of those skinum letters. The point is, it's got a shva. It's before a short vowel, so it should be a silent shva, right? Well, then you have a lamed afterward. Well, how do you say hallelujah? No, you say hallelujah so that we know that there are two of them. Same thing happens with, like, yeah, that's not really different. That's a modity. And occasionally a letter will assimilate into the katal suffix, right? Think of the root. Let's do this one. Think of the root karat. What is the root karat?
To cut.
Yeah,
To cut.
either to cut a covenant, something like that. What if I did it? Karat.
Karatati. Karate.
Karati. Karati. There's a strong dagesh in it. The two tavs collapsed. Or what if I ceased or rested? Then it would be Shabbati with a strong dagesh. So it is possible for that. Or even noon, right? How about what if I natan? If I did it, the noon gets lost. It becomes natati. So there are plenty of exceptions when the letter is exactly this. Well, not even exactly the same. Gosh, I'm thinking of the number shesh. Does anybody know the root? Some of you do. What is the root of the number 6, shesh?
Forgot.
It is shedj, shedj, like this. So it was probably originally shij, like this, and then Hebrew extends the vowel or lengthens the vowel on the front, much like it does with O flavored segolets. And because d and sh were originally pronounced in the same part of the mouth, did you know that? Sheen was not always sh. Sheen was probably something more like th, like you have a lisp or something. And in fact, that's the reason why Arabic turns it into an S sound, because it's probably closer than the SH sound that we think of today. But I digress. And so because these two were pronounced in the same part of the mouth, this assimilated into it. And so we get to see in words like she, sheem, 60, there's a dagesh
Mm.
from the missing dalit. So anyway, all that to say is when you have two letters that are super similar, the Masoretic scribes recorded their tradition. It assimilated the letter into the following letter. But the and ta were different enough at the time that it did not get swallowed up. It did not assimilate. It was only later that the turned into duh, and we lost the disambiguation between fricative dalit and plosive dalit. And anyway, same thing goes with gimel and rimmel. I just imagine if you have like a G sound with a schwa followed by, I don't know, a kaf. I don't even know if that exists. That'd be hard to pronounce. Well, because they're pronounced in the same place in the mouth at the top of the palate. But this would have been an original R sound, not an original G sound. Anyway, hopefully somebody got something from that. Any other? Cheryl, I'll give you the opportunity. Read this word, please.
Re'ehu. I put the
Re'ehu.
accent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You did great.
Revia.
Right.
Changed it.
This is reliable to tell us where the stress goes. Also,
Mhm.
ehu is one of those suffixes that always has penultimate stress. The ehu.
There's another one.
Say again? This one?
Yeah. Somewhere else I screwed up with the stress.
Okay. Well, I didn't catch it. My bad. I think it was over Vayomeru or something. Whatever. Because this is, let's see, Vayomeru. This should have ultimate stress.
Yeah.
Vayomeru, Kuma. Oh,
Kuma Veneshuva. Oh, I wanted to ask you what that line meant. You've
Venashuva.
told us before, but I forgot.
This is not a disjuncting cantillation mark.
Right.
If
What is it?
anything, it is a conjunctive. I think it's called munach largme or something like that. These two work together to say that it is conjuncted. So you're supposed to read these together without a pause. Kuma venashuva.
Legarmer.
Legarma.
So,
Okay, thank you.
legarmer.
Kuma venashuva. And so this over here, kuma, is your imperative. Hey, you do this. And what's this one over here? Venashuva.
Mm-hmm.
What's this one? That's not an imperative.
No, they're cohortative.
Cohortative, isn't it?
Exactly. Cohortative. Let's do it. We want to do it, right? Arise and let us do something. Do what? Nashuv. Let us return. El amenu. Let's retreat. Let's go back to our own people. Ve'el eretz moladetenu. Mipnei cherev hayona. And here we have that feminine cherev again, and that's why we have the feminine adjective, the repressing or suppressing or binding or oppressive sword. And what kind of a word is koshel o e?
Participle.
Participle.
Call participle. Masculine singular. Good. Any other questions here? Ooh, another little itty bitty verse. Who wants to read this?
I'll read.
All right, please.
Karu Sham Par O Melech Misraim Shaon He A Vir Ha Mor Ad.
Hamoed. Kareu. Here's another example of one of those full kamatz vowels with an audible schwa afterward, because it comes from kara. Karau. Kareu. So that's full kamatz. Kareu. Sham. They cried out there. Paro melech Mitzrayim, Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Sha'on. Does anyone want to venture a guess what the root of this word is?
Is it Sheen Olive Vav?
Originally, it was probably Shin Aleph Vav. We're going to find it in the Bible as Shin Aleph, missing letter Hey,
Yeah.
because most of your final Vavs do turn into nominally final Yods, which turn into final Hey, vowel Hey. Sorry, Mater Lectionis vowel letter Hey. And there's something I really want to do if I can find the time to do it. There's this theory that roots in Semitic languages that have the same first two letters have some sort of a related meaning. I'm not 100% on board with it. I want to dig into it and see if there's any see if I can find any truth to it. But what I noticed here is that there's another root called sha'ag. Does anyone know this root sha'ag? It's in one of my kids' books that I read to my children. It's the roar of a lion. So sha'ag, he roared. Now, it can be used figuratively of people who are roaring like a lion, but I noticed that sha'a and its noun sha'on is like this loud noise. And what is a sha'ag? It's a loud noise. I'm like, oh, stop it. Come on. Really? Is there some truth to this? Um, Maybe it's something that I'll be able to do one day, but I've got so many irons in the fire right now. He'evir hamoed. Wait a second. I thought there was something I wanted to. No, no, I think we're good. Comments, questions? Man, we're scooching right along. Eileen, you have your hand up. Do you want to read? All right, this one's yours. Yalla.
Okay. I, Ani, Ne, Hamelech, Adonai, Sevaot, Shemo, Ki, Hatabor, Beharim, Uki, Carmel, Beam, Yabo,
Bayam Yavo. Bayam Yavo. All right. How's the usual way of spelling ani? we usually don't pay a whole lot of
Fatah,
attention to it. It's
Fatah,
usually with a
Fatah.
chataf, patach, ani.
Yes.
Now, chataf vowels never, ever take the stress of a word. So that's why we pronounce it as ani. But this is not a chataf vowel anymore. And in fact, look at the cancellation marks. This one over here is always post positive. We can't trust it. But this one
Pashta.
over here is marking the stress. Is it a dalga or pashta? I think it's
Come on,
dalga.
Kadma.
Okay, either right. Okay, so the stress is right there. It'd be chayani hamelech Adonai tzvaot shmo. Halfway point. There's a katon. Ki katavor, and again, this one would have originally been something like th without a dagesh, but later on that distinction was lost, and now all tavs are t. And ki thavor becomes ki tavor. Does anybody recognize Beth Lehem? Why do we say Beth
Yeah,
Lehem?
Beth.
Because that th originally was a tav with no dagesh. But
Right.
eventually, modern pronunciation stopped doing that. And now in modern Hebrew, the name of the place is Bet Lechem instead of Beth Lechem. And anyway, so that changed over time. Ki katavor beharim, there's another katon. Uchecharmel bayam yavo. Where is Carmel?
Mount Carmel?
Yeah.
It's a long mountain
Yeah, it's kind of its own mountain
on the west.
range on the west that culminates at the city of Haifa or Haifa. And what famous story do we know related to Mount Carmel?
Elijah.
Elijah
Good,
and
very
the
good.
Prophets of Baal.
prophets of Baal.
Very good, yes. And okay, so it appears that Chayani Ne'um HaMelech Adonai Tzvaot Shmo and Ki Tavor Beharim, like okay, Tavor is closer to like the middle
Mhm.
of the Galil or
Near Nazareth.
sure, yeah. Beharim. What's going on with this segol here?
The guttural after it changes the vowel.
Wait.
It's a baha. It's a beha, and it's shortened to ba. And but when it precedes a guttural, certain gutturals, he, het, and I believe ein, it becomes a segol. When
Either
the accent is on the
het,
last syllable.
or
Think.
ayin with a kamatz that is unstressed. Boy, that's a lot of ifs, isn't it?
Mhm.
And okay, so we're looking at a combination of b with the definite article and one of these three letters that has a kamatz that is unstressed. Then, wow, all of that together becomes eh. This is actually a form of virtual doubling, if anybody's ever heard of that. And be ha rim. Let me show you. Does Hebrew typically allow for short vowels in an open syllable? Not usually. There should be a dagesh in here, and that would allow for a short vowel in a closed syllable. But since we can't put a dagesh in a hey, the grammarians tell us that this is virtually doubled. It should have been doubled, but we can't do that, so we're just going to call it virtually doubled. The same thing happens with, what if it was just the mountain? Not the mountains, just the mountain.
Hacharim.
Haha.
Haim.
No,
Haha.
singular.
Okay, it's the kamatz under the hey.
Haha.
Is it?
Oh no, that's a hey. No, it's no, it's a patach.
Segol.
It's a patach because there's enough oomph with the hay and the chet that you don't have to make it a kamatz under the hay. They leave it as a patach.
I think it,
right?
yeah, I think it should be a kamatz, a patach because of the hay that follows the stressed hay. But then I'll also wonder if there's like Yeah, I'll just run with that. If somebody can prove me wrong, then go for it. I
You got it
think that
right,
with
right
hey and
there.
chet, yeah, I think with hey and chet, there's supposed to be patach, but then as soon as you lose the stress, that's when it turns into an vowel. And that just to let you know, that vowel does show up a lot more often than just this one crazy rule. Okay, sometimes it shows up completely inexplicably, and no one's going to be able, it's really indefensible. That's just the tradition that the Masoretes gave us, so we're going to have to run with it and be fine with it. Sometimes the will show up when there is no guttural before it, or after it. I'm hoping that you all have already read through this, so I'm not spending a whole lot of time on the interpretation of these verses, but if somebody has a pressing question, by all means, we're here to discuss it.
Neum Adonai, usually it's declaration, Neum Adonai.
Correct. So the yeah, the word neum is not a verb. It's not. It's a noun. So what is a neum? It's an oracle, it's a declaration, and in modern Hebrew, it's something of a, an oration. It's a speech or something like that. It is a noun, but that doesn't sound right in English, so the translators will typically translate it with a verb, which I guess is okay. But yeah, absolutely, that is a noun. Neum, declaration, oracle. All right. Anatoly, do you want to read again? Your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Bavakasha.
No, okay, just good. Kelei, Gola, Esi, Allah, your Shephet, but Mitzrayim, oh, your Shephet, but Mitzrayim, ki Nof, Leshama, ti Tihia, Benitzeta, Me'ain, Yoshev.
Very good. This one. Okay, what are kelim?
Foreign
Tools.
Tools, vessels, implements, apparatus,
vessels. Yeah.
apparati, I guess, and some sort of a tool, right? Clay, construct chain, gola. What is the galut?
Dispersion.
The diaspora, the exile, it appears to come from the root gala. What is gala? Or properly missing yod, but whatever. To uncover. When a people is
legalot.
legalot would be to find something out, to discover it. Exactly. So gala simply means to be uncovered. Legalot in the PL means to discover something. Same idea, but more intensive. And so when a people is uncovered, they are unprotected, they are shamed. Yeah, exactly. They are, right, galui, something that's been found and uncovered. All right, so that's the connection between captivity and the root of the word. So these instruments of exile, uncovered captivity, diaspora, something like that. Asilach. Asi?
Made it.
Do it.
It's an imperative to FS. Hey, you lady, make for yourself instruments for captivity, for galut, for exile. And those aren't exactly comforting words. Yoshevet bat Mitzrayim, the one who is dwelling. This is a kal participle FS, so it's probably describing you to FS as the one who is dwelling Bat Mitzrayim, daughter of Egypt. Ki Nof, there's that Nof again, the proper location. Lishama. Ooh, I know the word Sham. What's the word Sham? Unrelated. What's the root here? Uh-oh. Is my internet going in and out again?
Glitchy.
Oh my goodness.
Anybody else
Glitchy.
getting glitches besides me?
No, it might be.
Yeah.
It might be for me.
Everybody's getting glitches for the last
it
few
might
things
be.
you said there,
It
Jared.
might be me. It might be me. Sorry about that.
Glitch.
I'm doing everything I can to keep the internet running
Jared,
here.
you're glitchy.
Can you hear me now
Very
then?
glitchy.
Can you hear me now?
Glitchy.
Oh my gosh. Can you hear me
Hello.
now?
I think he's gone. I think he's
Oh,
gone.
for
Now he's
Peter.
gone. We scared
You're
him away.
frozen.
I'm
Miss
frozen.
Killed.
Oy vey.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
He's gone into captivity. He's
I've
gone into captivity.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you got to back up because we missed quite a few things
All
you
right.
said.
Am I back? Am I back? Am I frozen still? Can you hear me?
After Bat Mitzrayim.
Okay, right. So
then,
Bat
yeah.
Mitzrayim, then we have Ki Nof, there's that proper noun, Nof, and then we've got Leshama. Shama, is this related to the word Sham there?
I think it's about destruction, isn't
Very
it?
good.
Desolation.
Sheen, right. Well, I mean, the translation underneath it, waste. It's from the root shamam, meaning destruction, desolation, something like that. A desolation she will be. Tihye. So that's a 3FS, referring back to
Bat Mitzrayim? Nof.
because Nof is 3FS, whereas you, O daughter of Mitzrayim, Yoshevet, that was the 2FS. So we're describing you 2FS as Yoshevet Bat Mitzrayim. That's all 2FS. It is Nof. She shall be for a destruction, a waste. So it's probably referring back to the city. All cities are feminine, except for the Vatican.
Yeah.
What binyan is this? Venitzata.
Is that a Nifa?
Yes.
Is there. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's what I was getting at, is if you saw the Hirik and the Dagesh, one might be tempted to call it a PL.
Is it a PL, but it's a Nifa?
But what if the root were something like this? Ninsa, what would happen to this noon?
Assimilation.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
They'll
So
eliminate.
this is a nifal, and that's going to look exactly the same. Well, if he did it would be nitza. If she did it would be nitzata, but and then that would drop to a shva. Nitzata. They look identical whether it's a PL or a nifal. Yay! So how do we know which one it is?
Then
Oh,
What's the difference in
active
general?
or passive?
Yes, very good. PL is active. Someone is doing the action to something else, whereas Nifal is passive. It has been done to her. So in this context, I think talking about her being a waste and something shall be done to her, the Nifal seems to make better sense. Me En Yoshev. From, and I think these two should be read together. En Yoshev. What is En Yoshev?
Yoshev, inhibited.
Lack of inhabitant, the lack of the inhabitor, a place of not even a single inhabitant. Desolate. So now my question becomes, what is this me? How do we translate it? Usually me means from. Well, at least mean, which becomes me, right?
Is it comparing?
Yes, it's comparative. More desolate than a place of no inhabitants. Woo! Yeah, that's strong language. All right, questions on this before we go to the next one? There's something really cool I want to show you in the next one. All right, who would like to read?
I'll read again.
All right, go right ahead, please.
Egg la yafa fiya Mizraim Kerez, Misa, Porn, Ba, Va.
All right, so something strange happening here and something strange happening here. Egla, you all remember the story about the golden egla,
Calf.
the golden calf? That's the word, egla. And why did they make a golden eglah? Well, they were coming out of Egypt and they wanted to make a god for themselves to lead them back to Egypt or into the promised land, because whatever happened to this Moses guy, we don't know. He went up the mountain, he's been gone for 40 days. Nobody knows what happened to him. Let's make our own gods. That was the story of the golden calf, eglah. Why did they make an eglah? Probably because that was the thing to do in Egyptian culture. So it's kind of I don't know if I can call it poetic justice, but it's fitting to talk about how Egypt is an eglah, and not just an eglah, a yefefiyah. All right, now something very interesting is happening in yefefiyah. In this should not have a hyphen in it. In modern Hebrew, we have this word yefefiyah as a single word with reduplication in there. It comes from the word yafe or yafa in the feminine, and then it's
Beautiful.
reduplicated to talk about like diminutive, like the not necessarily diminutive, maybe it's superlative or something, very fair. It's some derivative of the meaning yafe, beautiful. And it doesn't sit well with me to have a makef or makaf right there. Makes me think something else is going on. I went over to the Septuagint to see what they did there, and it was bedecked. Bedecked. And I'm not quite sure how to fit that into, I guess, yefefiyah, very fair, bedecked with ornamentation or whatever. I don't know. So anyway, this is not how it would be spelled in modern Hebrew, but rather that is. So it's kind of cool though to see this reduplication there. But what I really want to focus on is this ba va. Ba va. Okay, what's the meaning? What are our options when it comes to the mean? These are essentially the same words, aren't they? They look like it, bet. Come on, it's aleph.
Oh,
Come and enter probably something. It's came
Okay,
in.
we have two options with a verb like this, ba. Option one is a Kalkatal 3MS. He did it. And option two is a call
Participle.
participle, masculine singular. He is doing something. Or some masculine singular subject is doing something. All right. So keretz appears to be masculine. Mitzafon is a prepositional phrase. From the tzafon, from the north. Ba, if this is an adjective describing keretz, then we could say that it is the destruction that from the north is coming. Ba has come. What?
is it tautological? Is it
Yeah,
tautological?
that's what I was going to ask.
Okay,
Is
so
it infinitive?
so I went over to the Septuagint to look at this one too, and you know what I found? It ends with
Yeah, that's how I read it because I read it wrong without a hey.
it ends with it ends with in her, which means this at least the Septuagint translators translated it as ba
To her.
instead of ba with an aleph. So he is coming in the midst of her, Egypt. Destruction from the north is coming into her,
Is this
the nation.
How do you spell the tautological if it was an infinitive absolute?
If it were an infinitive absolute for this root, it would have to be bo.
Oh, I wondered, yeah. Okay. So it can't be that.
is this
That would work if it was, because it would add emphasis to what's going to
right.
happen.
Maybe,
But
and who knows? Maybe we could we could amend the text and say, well, maybe those excellent scribes, maybe they made a mistake, and there are some scholars that do that and say, well, maybe we should read it like this. But when the Septuagint has, in her, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, wait, was it also in the Peshitta? Let me check. I feel like I checked that. What was it? Oh, here it is. This one right here. Go over here. Let
Oh,
me clear the screen for a second. The Septuagint here it is, has came upon her, referring back to, Egypt. And then there's the Peshitta, which also has Aleha.
Hmm.
So when you have both well, I guess some people would argue that the Peshitta was a translation from the Septuagint. I'm not 100% certain about that, but whatever. When you have both of those evidences saying it should be 3FS, that's two witnesses. And then the subject within the Hebrew itself, or the words as they stand in the Hebrew themselves, they don't really make sense together. Ba ba. So all three of those evidences come together. I would say, yeah, maybe this should be amended to ba with a hey instead of ba with an aleph.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways that you can use other ancient witnesses to try and figure out if there was a mistake in the Hebrew text.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
I think you just answered it, but I'm gonna still ask it anyway.
Okay.
What does ba mean? I thought it was bay mean in, by, or something like that with.
Right, exactly. So if we're talking about just the prefixing preposition, which is it usually shows up as b, but if the following syllable is stressed, it'll show up as ba. That means in, with, at. It could even mean against in the sense of, being at somebody, against somebody. But it has to do with closeness. So when we have just ba with a kamatz hey on the end, kamatz mapike like this, then that means this is our in, with, at, against, and then the suffix here is the 3FS, her. Destruction is coming from the north at or against her. Now, as it's written with the aleph, I already answered that. Now, maybe that wasn't your question. With the aleph, it means to come or he came. And that doesn't make sense to have it twice.
So ba means in, with, against, or something,
Mhm.
and va means, what did you say it meant?
Wait. I want to make sure I'm understanding your question. So this, which sometimes shows up as this, is the one that means in, with, at.
Yes.
Uh, Bet with an aleph on the end sounds the same, but it means either he came or arrived, or conversely, it could mean that he is coming.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a third option, which I think belongs in this text. It's the preposition with a suffix on the end that refers to her. So at, against, her, 3FS. So those are the three bas that we're juggling here. And I think this is a much better option than that one because
I
it's
see.
attested in the Septuagint and Peshitta.
How do you write she came?
She came would be it would be ba'a. Try that again. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, ba'a means she came,
Okay.
and
Ba.
ba'a means she is coming. So this one is your participle, and this one is the Kalkatel, 3FS. Just the difference between the two is the stress.
Wow.
This
Thank you.
is normal for feminine singular roots that are hollow. If she sang, it would be shara. If she is singing, it would be shara. Any hollow root acts that way. Okay, questions on this?
Is this whole exercise symbolic of the heifer that's to be slaughtered?
Certainly sounds like it, doesn't it?
It's a case I would not have thought that, but it's a case it looks like maybe that's how Jeremiah knew that Egypt was ripe for the slaughter.
Right. So you have this beautiful heifer Egypt, and destruction is coming her way. That's exactly what it sounds like. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
And all right, this is a little longer. Who wants to read this, please?
I can read.
All right, go ahead. Is that Ani?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
גם זכיעך וקרבה כעגלי מרפק, כי גם חמה חיפנו נסו יחדיו לא עמדו, כי יום אדם בא עליכם את פקודתם.
Kudatam. Very good reading. Gam schireha. Sachir is to, or sachar is to hire someone. So a sachir is the hired one. What's the yod here telling us?
We looked up, sorry to interrupt, but they called it mercenaries. They're
Yeah.
mercenaries. So that
Yeah.
and I saw the BHS did the same thing with it as the Chumash did. We looked it up
Is it
earlier.
so are we talking about like assassins? Is that
Yeah,
what's yeah.
mercenaries.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if I could run with that
Yeah.
because the schireha the hired men or the mercenaries are being described as fattened bulls, stall-fed bulls. Think of like
Mhm.
sedentary, food always shoveled in their mouths, uh, lazy, not lazy, just living in plentitude and oh, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember it right now. I don't buy it. I
Yeah,
just
good.
imagine all of these fat, happy dudes going around because of their
Mhm.
plentitude, and I don't see them as mercenaries.
Good.
Anyway, why it's mercenaries, I'd love to know why the interpreter thought that should be that way. Maybe should we check the Septuagint?
Is there time?
Is there time? Let's see. Hirelings, mistotoi. I don't speak Greek very well. The wage worker. Yeah, it doesn't really sound like the Septuagint's doing us any
They
favors
got it
there.
wrong, man.
Well, there must be some reason that they thought that was a better translation. Question is why? Until we have that answered, we'll just kind of put a pin in it.
Yeah.
Well, mine, I could see that. I could see that as fat soldiers, people
Yeah.
that weren't capable of fighting.
Yeah,
You're right. They
I think
boast of the numbers up, but they can't. The nobody use.
I would think of it as something exactly fat soldiers. Maybe okay. But the ones that you have doing your work are kind of these like fattened bulls, stall fed. The marbek is a word that means something like stall fed,
Mm.
not just fattened, but that. Ki gam hema hifnu. What's the root of hifnu?
Pane?
Yeah, exactly. We've got one, two, missing yod. So it's Hefil. They did it. They caused something to turn a different direction, maybe. Hifnu. Nasu. They fled. Yachdav, together. Lo amadu. Is that a pausal form?
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
yeah. It should have been amadu, and this would drop to shva, but in pausal form it says, we're going to keep that kamatz. Amadu. Kiyom Edam. What's the root of Edam?
Aid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably something more like Ayid, which becomes Aid in the construct form, calamity, belonging to them. You know, much like Bayit becomes Beit.
Bet.
Ba, Edam Ba, their calamity has come, is coming, Alehem, upon them, Et Pekudatam. Now, where was it? No, I think that was everything. Nasu. What's the root of Nasu?
Noose.
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 Right. Noose. To flee. Okay. Who wants to read next?
Tuesday hasn't read yet.
Someone just got volunteered. If you want to.
She's hiding.
Okay. Well, she's allowed to hide.
Okay.
Ola kanahash yelech ki v'chayil yelechu uvekardumot ba'u lach kehoteve etzim.
Very good. Excellent. Kolah kanahash yelech. All right. What's the subject of yelech?
The voice.
Good. We can see that it's a 3ms. Where's the 3ms? Kol is 3ms,
Her
belonging
voice.
to her. Her voice shall go, kanahash, like a serpent. Not sure exactly what that means. Serpents, of course, have a lot of
Hissing.
symbolism. Right, exactly. Is it the hissing? Is it the forked tongue? Is it the violence, the venom? What is it about the voice being like a nahash that they're trying to emphasize here? Ki v'chayil yelechu, I guess in, with, at. I don't know why they say like. This is 3MP. They shall go, walk. Here it says march, whatever. That might be, well, no, that's not even a good example, a good reason to say mercenaries from earlier. But maybe Chayil is. They shall in an army or with an army or as an army, I don't know. They shall go. Uve kaldumot. What is that? Kaldumot. It's not, I think it's used like,
Kardom is an axe.
I think it's
Modern.
used like 4 times in the Bible or something like that. So we do get to see other places where it shows up.
I think
And
Gidum is decapitation, actually. Gidum, if I
Gidum,
remember
right.
correctly.
That sounds right. So with axes, plural, ba'u lah. They come or came to her. Now this is a katal verb, right? So is this past tense?
Can it be? It's
This
got to
is
be
all
future.
this is all prophetic, right? So this is what the experts call the prophetic past. It's like the prophet is zooming into the future and looking back at what has happened, and now the words that he's saying are in the katal tense, the completed tense, but it's still something that's yet to come. So sometimes maybe it would be better to translate it as they will have come to her or something, like ultimately they will have come to her. Kechotave eitzim. So chatav is to chop wood. So who is a chotev? Well, it's a wood chopper. Like wood choppers of wood, trees.
Construct.
Construct. Construct chain. And we might be able to make it. Karetu, audible schwa. Ya'rah Ne'um Adonai Ki lo yechaker Ki rabu me'arbe Ve'en lahem mispar. All right, karetu, there's the root. We already talked about this one. They shall cut. We just talked about we mentioned the choppers of wood. They shall cut ya'rah. What is a ya'ar? Forest.
Forest.
They will cut her forest. Now, are we talking about trees or are we talking about trees representing something? You know how in various parts in the Bible, trees represent people. Who knows? They're coming like choppers, chopping down the forest, as it were. Ne'um Adonai, declaration of the Lord. Kilo yechaker. What is haker? It's
To search out.
to search out. Is this what binyan is this? Yechaker.
Yeah, that's Yiktol.
Okay.
Nifal?
Yiktol and Nifal.
Nifal.
How did you know it was Yiktol? Because there's
Nifal.
a yod. How did you know it
Yod.
was Nifal?
Yeah.
Good.
ER.
Right. Exactly. What
E'ah.
should have been chirik and then a following dagesh kamatz. The chet said no thank you. So we get a lengthened vowel instead. And so he will be searched out. No, lo, though he will not be searched out or cannot be searched out, some translations will say. Ki rabu me'arbe, for they have multiplied, they are many, compared to, right? There's that comparative mem again. Arbe, grasshoppers, locusts.
Or locusts.
Right. Ve'en lahem mispar. There is not to them a number. They are innumerable.
Is the if you go back, please. Yeah, the Cotter 2, is that the prophetic past again?
It has to be. Because it hasn't happened yet, but it's a katal. And Rabu, I guess Rabu is also prophetic past.
Mm-hmm.
Someone want to read this little bitty verse? Anatoly? Okay.
Habisha bat Mitzrayim. Habisha. Habisha bat Mitzrayim. Nitena beyad am Safon.
Safon. Very good. What binyan is nitana? Right. It's got a strong dagesh right there. That's what tells us that it's got a missing noon of is that the missing noon of nifal that's inside the tav?
Nope, that's the root.
Right. So it should have been nin te na. Right. Nin te na. This is what assimilates into there. So this one is our nifal noon, and this is the first root letter. 1, 2, 3. Natan, to give. So she was given, or prophetic past, she will be given, shall be given, or delivered. Beyad am tzafon, into the hand of the people of the north. Wait a second. Is Nebuchadnezzar north of Egypt?
Yes.
I thought he was east.
Right. So the question becomes something like this. If Israel, is right here, and Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon is way over there, and Egypt is here, are they going to cut straight across like this? No. This is dry, arid desert. They're going to cut across the Fertile Crescent and then come down this way.
Mm.
And that's why it was talking earlier about the Mount Carmel. And now it's talking about coming from the north. It would be suicide to come across that dry desert. You come across the Fertile Crescent, follow the Euphrates, and then cut down along the shore. And what is the root of Hovisha?
Yavesh.
Yavesh. Yavesh means to be dry. Hovisha means she caused
he feel.
someone, exactly, causative, he feel, she caused someone to dry out. Now, I don't know if confounded is the best translation here. Just imagine the way that the Hebrews would have read this and understood this. They're dried out. They're no good. They're not moist with vigor, as it were. They're all kind of, well, I guess we say the same thing in English, right? Ah, he's not in the workforce, and he's all dried up. You know, he's not spry anymore. But it has to do with Yavesh, dry, exactly. Oh, that's a big one.
Can I ask the question
Of
from the
course.
previous
Please
one?
go ahead.
Okay, I know that Te is a can be geminated with the gash there, but how do you know that it's a missing noon or missing? Yeah,
This one right here,
yes.
because we encounter it a whole lot and we have to memorize it. It's a common word. The way that I teach it, you know this, but just for the sake of everyone else, the way that I teach it is when you see a strong dagesh,
Mm-hmm.
is this, first off, is this a strong dagesh? How do we know? There's a preceding vowel. Yes, check, it
Uh-huh.
is a strong dagesh. Okay. If you find a strong dagesh, more often than not, it's a missing noon.
Oh,
But you're absolutely right that there are plenty of words that have a dagesh, and it's not a missing noon. Maybe it's a missing lamed. Maybe it's a missing geminate root. Those do exist. I mean, even like in the word if I want to say his people, it would be mo. Why? Because there's a missing noon? Well, statistically, you'd be good to guess that it's a missing noon, but no, is geminate. It's ein mem mem. I'm just saying, if you take all of the strong dagesh dots in the Bible and categorize them by what letter went missing, noon will win hands down. So, in general, assume it's a noon unless you know better. But yeah, the root natan is extremely frequent in the Bible, so it should be one of those words that we learn and get used to very quickly. Get used to recognizing.
so there's nothing that tells you that. You just have to assume that because it is.
Right, right. Like if I ask someone who speaks English, "Hey, what does ATM mean?" There's nothing built into the acronym ATM that lets me know what that means, right? I just
Yeah,
simply have to know because of culture, context, whatever.
yeah.
And same thing with Hebrew. What letter went missing? Well, we can guess, but the more we know of Hebrew, the more certain we can be, oh yeah, that's from Natan.
Oh,
If you wanted to, you could always take a word like this over to a website, a resource like two root letter lookup, and it would point you in the right direction. You could use something like Bible Hub Interlinear, where you click on it and it tells you the root, and that way it kind of spoon feeds it to us until we get up to speed. Those
so
are great tools to use.
is that also geminated as well? Is it both?
Let me. I want to be. I want to be very exact with how I'm saying this. Geminate simply means that a letter is doubled.
Yeah.
So technically, this tav with a strong dagesh in it is geminated. It is
Mm-hmm.
doubled. But why is it doubled would be my question. It's because there was originally a noon, and noon being a weak letter assimilates into the following letter. So the
Oh,
noon turns into the following letter, and then that is what goes into the dagesh. So it's
I
actually a
see.
two-step process. The same thing happens in English with words like illogical. This was originally an N. Illogical means not logical. But why did it turn into an L? Because the N, being a weak letter, turned into the following letter. That's very immature of it. Oh, there it is again. The N turned into the following letter. So there's an English parallel or
Okay.
Latin parallel.
I'm not going to
So,
remember it, but I'll try. Hope
so
I
in the
don't
light
ask
of
that question again.
Very good. William, go ahead.
so so in the light of the tav having a dagesh,
Yeah.
when you pronounce that, it would be nit tan.
Very good.
Nitana.
Because there's a strong dagesh here, it tells us the schwa is audible. And if you want to look at it in a diachronic way, we could say that this tav was originally pronounced t, as opposed to a tav with no dagesh, which was th, but that's ancient history now. But the tav is pronounced as t, and the schwa under it is audible because of the strong dagesh. Did that answer your question?
Not quite.
Okay,
So
restate it, please.
if I was to pronounce that, it would be Nitan Nitana.
I see what you're doing there. Okay, you're asking if this is geminated, if it is a double T grammatically, should I
Yeah,
pronounce it twice? Should it be nit te na like this? Nit te
yeah.
na. Am I pronouncing it twice? Um, I guess the way that I'm going to answer you is maybe there's no way to know for sure, but
Right.
we don't have an MP3 recording of Moses on Mount Sinai to be able to know how he pronounced it. Maybe it was originally pronounced doubly, or maybe as it is in Arabic, the letters that have a strong dagesh are held on to just a little longer. So this would be something more like nitana, nitana, almost like you're hanging on it for a second. But how is it in modern Hebrew? Ain't nobody got time for that. It just becomes nitana. Like nobody says button, but rather button, right? So the two T's kind of just fall into a single sound. So that's a complex answer because the pronunciation of Hebrew has changed over the millennia. And so how is it pronounced today? It's just a single T, and it's not reduplicated. Excuse me, it's not pronounced differently in modern pronunciation like perhaps Arabic still does.
Well, well, here you go. This is interesting because it's a case as I would read this consonant vowel, the non-heroic tav could be a closed grouping.
Oh, absolutely. It is a
And then it's
closed
a case,
syllable.
how do you then go on after the tav because there's a vowel there, the kamats.
Not yet. There's a shva first, right? That
So
shva,
that would close it.
easy. Slow down, cowboy.
I'm
The
trying.
the the tav is doubled. The first tav receives a silent shva. The second tav receives an audible shva. Much in the same way when we have something like nish meru. Nish Meru. See how we have two schwas here, right? The first one and the
Yeah.
second one. And we're taught by all the grammars that when you have two schwas, you can split the syllable here. The first one is silent, the second one is audible. Well, I would argue the same thing is happening here, except now instead of having two tavs with two schwas, you have one tav with one schwa, a silent one, and an audible one.
I can understand that.
Yofi. All right. Who wants to read this monster of a verse?
I'll go.
Okay, Cheryl.
Okay. אמר אדוני צבאות אלוהי ישראל, הנני,
See, there you go again. You have two, exactly.
הנני,
It's supposed to
הנני,
be silent, but because it's the same letter, you have to pronounce it hinni,
הנני, פוקד, פוקד, אל המון מינו.
which, in case anyone didn't know, is Thebes.
ועל פרעה ועל מצרים ואל אלוהיה, small g, ועל מלכיה ועל פרעה, ועל הבוטחים בו.
Very good. Excellent reading. So even though there's a lot of
בוטחים בו.
botachim,
בוטחים בו.
botachim bo. even though there's a lot of text here, there really isn't a whole lot to talk about linguistically, unless you guys have a question. We've got some plural yods here with a 3fs suffix. שאמר אדוני צבאות אלוהי ישראל, הנני פוקד אל עמון מינו. Yeah, I never would have known that no is Thebes. ועל פרעה ועל מצרים ועל אלוהיה ועל מלכיה ועל פרעה ועל הבוטחים בו. The ones who are trusting in, what's this going back to? Trusting in him. What's 3MS? What's it referring back to?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Pharaoh?
right. Yeah, it's right there. Pharaoh is 3MS. Very good. Questions on this? Oh, we have 3 more verses. I think we can do it. We have 2 minutes. Unetatim biyad mivakshe nafsham uviyad Nebuchadrezzar melech Bavel וביד עבדיו, ואחרי כן תשכון כימי קדם נאום אדוני. I feel like I missed one in here somewhere. אחרי כן תשכון כימי קדם. I guess technically, what is that? Tipacha right there. And Tatim. All right. You see how we've got a missing noon here from Natan? Unetatim, we have an U on the front. We've got a T suffix and then a pronominal suffix. So help me parse this out.
Yeah, it's about conjunctive suffix.
Okay, so the suffix is 3CP, them,
Okay.
or a 3MP. I said CP,
Yeah.
3MP, them.
Here you
What is the T?
first common singular.
Yeah, so first common
T is
singular,
I.
I did it. Yes, I did it. That's the T.
I did.
What's the root?
Natan.
Natan. And what's the U at the front?
Yeah, and
Vekatal.
conjunctive.
It might be Vekatal.
Vekatal?
It might be Vekatal, and it might be just a continuation of that prophetic future that we've been talking about this whole time, right? And then I
Yes.
will have delivered them. I would say just because we've been getting all these katals in this prophetic genre, I might say, well, maybe it's a katal with a conjunction vav, but nobody can prove it. It's speculative. So if we want to call it vekatal, great. And if we want to call it the other one, great. Move on. And I gave them into the hand of mivakshe. What kind of a word is this?
And participle.
Participle.
Plural.
PL.
Okay, good.
PL.
Plural.
Masculine.
PL. We've got
Construct.
this. What should have that? Construct. So this is from the root bakash, like bavakasha. It's the ones who are seeking, right? All right. So it's a PL because of the shva, patach, and what should be dagesh, but it's a skinim levi letter. The mem tells us it's a participle. The tzere yod tells us it's masculine plural and construct. So it's in construct with that. The seeker, the ones who are seeking of their lives. Does this mean those who are seeking their own lives? No. This is going to be the ones who are seeking the lives of the Egyptians. Into their hands and into the hand of Nebuchadrezzar melech Bavel. Does anybody know what how the Bible explains the meaning of the word Bavel?
It's some confusion or something.
They relate it to Balal, which means to confuse. Do you know how Akkadian accounts for the name Bavel?
No, but you're going to tell us.
It's the gate of God. Ba'il. Wait a second. Bab Il. That's what it is. Bab is a gate. Il is the Akkadian for God. So Babil or Bavel is gate of God. So we get to see this probably creative invention in the Bible where there's this tradition that God confused the languages, and that's really cool. It's a literary tool, I guess. But then if you want to talk factually, I think that Babel comes from the Akkadian gate of God.
I could go with that because Nimrod was the founder of Babylon, and it was a case that he came from the offspring out of the flood. So it's a case that, yeah, I could see that
It
more
was
clearly than the confusion.
well, no, right. So I want to. I'm not trying to pick one over the other.
No,
In the West, we have a bad habit of saying, "What's the true interpretation?" When in the Jewish mind, it's more like, "What are all the possibilities?" And
Mm.
so all I want to do is show you possibilities.
well,
And
I think both are valid.
oh yeah, sure. Yeah. And maybe there are
I think
other
both are. I think
interpretations
either
too.
one's valid. I think either one's valid because it's a case that um, I can see the gate of God. Yes, I can see that, but I could also see that actually the individuals were getting above themselves,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and therefore
Oh
confusion.
yeah. They were defying the command of God. They were trying to make a name for themselves and contend with God. And so it makes total sense. We have two verses left. Who wants to read this one?
I'll read it.
All right, go ahead,
Anastasia put her
Tuesday.
hand up too.
Ve'ata
okay.
al tira avdi Yaakov ve'al tehat Yisrael. Hi ani Moshiacha merachok ve'et zar'acha me'eretz shivyam v'shav Yaakov v'shalhat v'sha'ana ve'en machara maharid.
Macharid. Who are the Charedim? The trembling sect, right? Charad. So here we have Mecharid, from trembling. Ve'ata al tira. What's the root?
Ya'e,
Yeah, Yod Resh
Yara
Aleph Yara, to fear or revere. Avdi Yaakov. Here we have apposition. O servant, O my servant Jacob. Ve'al techat. Ooh, what's the root of this one?
Hmm. Hmm. Boot? Date.
Yod
Date.
Het
Yod, Het,
Yod Het Yod Het
Goed or
Your
hey.
Honor, I would like to present as evidence that we are looking at
Oh,
Joseph.
al techad.
we are
Okay.
looking at a jussive,
Joseph. So
Joseph,
which means that if it can apocopape, if it can lose a vowel, it will. Chet, tav, missing yod. Chata.
chate.
Or
Chate.
right, so it should have been tachate, like this.
Uh-huh.
Tachate. Hang on, that would be with segol. So the yictol form would be tachate, but as soon as you turn it into a jussive by adding either al or na or something like that, then it's going to apocopape, and all you're
Yes.
left with is this right here. And okay, so why do we have techat? Maybe it has to do with it being a state of being verb. State of being verbs have an ea pattern in the yiktol, right? Yiktal. And maybe that's where the tsere is coming from. But yeah, this is a 2 ms, and then that's first root letter, second root letter, missing third root letter. Al techat Yisrael ki hineni moshiacha. And the root is probably this right here. What's the mem tell us?
Simple.
Participle.
Participle. And
Participle.
the fact that there's an O and a chirik, what binyan is it?
Refill.
He feel. It should be he feel. It should be Mao-shia, but this Mao sound turns into Mo. Moshia or Moshiacha merachok ve'et zaracha me'eretz shivyam. Shvi. Shvi. Is that a seglet?
Chevy.
Right. So
Refill.
we get to see the word as shvi and in the pausal form as shevi. But look at the construct form. Isn't this the way we expect a seglet to show up? Think of the word betten and then add a suffix, beat no. Look at what you've got there. You've got first root letter with a chirik, shva, and then your suffix. First root letter chirik, shva, and then your suffix. It's a seglet. Here's another seglet over here. Zaracha. That's your, that's just because of your suffix. You get short vowel, shva, shvab. This is an flavored seglet. This is an e or I flavored seglet. Vishav Yaakov, Vishaka. Check it. What's check it?
Be quiet.
Quiet. So here we have the verb
Quiet.
shakat, to be in stillness, rest, silence, as it were. Vishanan is also another synonym, to be at ease. Ve'en macharid, without one making afraid.
Question.
Yeah.
Just remind me, negative jussives, the verb can be, it doesn't have to be third person, right?
Correct. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was supposed to mention it and I didn't. We usually think of the first person as being cohortatives, the second person being imperatives, and the third person being the jussives.
But
the exception to that is that negative can be negative jussives in the second person and negative jussives in the third person. So jussives are here, second person negative or positive or negative in the third person. So there is no, properly speaking, there is no negative imperative. It's the owl plus adjussive. Correct. How do we know that? Who came to that conclusion? Well, because remember, all jussives like to apocopate. They like to be in the shortened form. So when we see an imperative, well, what's the imperative of this verb? Well, let's take what would it be? Would it be T? I don't know if it would probably be tich. It'd probably be tichte, actually. Okay, so now let's get rid of this. What would be the imperative? Well, you'd still have the vowel, the hey right there. So that one did not apocopate. Whereas jussives, bam, it lost the hey, it apocopated. That's why the grammars will tell you that it is a jussive, because it apocopates like all the other ones. Last verse, we're 10 minutes, 11 minutes over.
Anastasia had her hand up.
Anastasia, please.
אוקיי. אתה אל תירא עבדי, יעקב נאום אדוני, כי איתך אני, כי אעשה חלה בכל הגויים, אשר הדחתיך שמע ואותך לא אעשה חלה, ואיסרתיך למשפט ונקה לא Anakecha.
Anakeka. Why is there a dot there? Anakeka. It should be anakecha, right? Why is there a dot? Say again?
It's hard dagesh, no?
It is hard to guess. I guess the question I'm asking is, why is there a strong dagesh in the ka? It should be cha. That's where it usually shows up. Cha. Why over here is it ka all of a sudden? Cha.
It's like a vichuneka, something. I don't know.
Yes, what you're referring to is the Aaronic blessing, where it has that strong K sound at the end because of the dagesh. The answer is energic noon. There's a missing
Energetic,
noon
yes.
in there, per
Oh.
usual, right? Okay. And yeah, there are a lot of Israelis that when they say the blessing, they say vichunecha.
Yeah.
But the ones who know who understand how strong dagesh works, they say vichoneka, and the same thing is happening here. That noon that's assimilated into the kaf was originally something like adding certainty. Certainly, I will not make clean you, or label you as without sin. To leave you unpunished, as it were.
So
And
just so I understand, so the noon would be after the kuf,
oh yeah,
and and it apoc or it's hidden because it's in puzzle, or
no.
does that have anything to do with it?
No. Okay, so I'm going to try to spell this as plene as possible. This is a hypothetical form, but bear with me.
Hmm.
Anna, uh, I guess that would be Anna Kencha.
Hmm.
Okay, this is what it should. So this right here is our Yictol prefix letter, I will. Then we get the root, nun, kuf, missing yod.
Hmm.
Here's the energic nun.
Hmm.
And then the suffix 2ms. This is the noon that has disappeared into the kaf. This is the noon that tells us, if I can spell, certainly I will call clean you.
Mm.
So this
Mm.
is the noon right there. That's the strong dagesh of PL.
I guess I'm wondering why they hit it in a dagesh. Why didn't they just spell it out?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. So it's because noon is weak and often goes missing at the end of a syllable. But fortunately for us, there are some places preserved in the Hebrew text where the noon is there. Otherwise, we would still be scratching our head. Why is there a dot here? So there are places where the noon does show up explicitly, but in the vast majority of cases, it disappears, but it's still categorized as the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I want to bring something to y'all's attention. I'm currently working on a project where I'm transliterating the Bible. I don't like transliteration, but apparently lots of people want this sort of a thing, so I'm going to do it. And what I'm finding is that it is so hard to figure out where all the Kamatz Katan vowels are in the Bible. And so a lot of students will ask me, well, we can always be sure that a meteg tells us that we are not looking at a kamatz katan, right?
Frog.
Yes,
Wrong.
but
Wrong. So
Mhm.
several years ago, I already did this study, and I found one or two places in the Bible where there's a meteg on what should be a kamatz katan. I'm like, ha! I found one. And then today I'm reading along, like, oh well, there's another one.
Mhm.
Just yeah, I want to here, let me show you something. What length vowel is this one up here? Yaakov. Is that a short vowel or long vowel?
it's short one. Short.
It's
Short.
a, it's a short patach, right? It's a short patach. Is this one a short vowel or a long vowel?
Long.
Oh.
Oh, it's a long.
Long.
Long vowel. What you'll
Well,
find is as you go through and here's another one. This is definitely a Kamatz
they
Katan,
call it.
short vowel. So what I'm trying to get at then is that meteg's job is not to tell us that we're looking at a long vowel. There are plenty of times when meteg shows up on a segol, which is always short. There are plenty of times it shows up on a long vowel. It does not tell us the length of the vowel. I don't care what your Hebrew instructors tell you. Yes, it is true that more often than not, Metheg tells us that we're looking at a kamatz and not a kamatz katan, but it's not across the board.
Okay.
And so what is the purpose of a Metheg?
Hang out there a little longer.
That's it. Hang out there a little longer. Some people would describe it as secondary stress. Some people would describe it as yeah, the word metheg literally means just hang on it a little bit longer. So when we look up the the function of a meteg in one of these grammar books, it gives us like 5 different explanations. I'm sorry, but the Masoretic scribes were not, I highly doubt it would be, I am incredulous to believe that the Masoretic scribes gave 5 different functions to a meteg. No, I think it had one function, and it was hang out here a little longer. They weren't as concerned with all of the minutia as maybe the grammars or the grammar authors are. And anyway, so any questions on this verse before we close out? What is this kamatse right here?
Directional.
Locative, directional.
Directional.
Because it's an unstressed kamatse, which tells us that it's probably directional. So towards sham. What's the root of this word?
Dalet.
Dacha. Dache.
Dalet.
Is it a strong dagesh?
Noon, Dalit.
There it is. Noon dalet chet. I'm telling you, more often than not, there's a missing noon. Just make sure that you're looking at a strong dagesh, right? I don't want you to go over here and go, oh, this must have a missing noon. No, that's a silent shva. So that's a weak dagesh. And furthermore, like I said, there are plenty of places where dagesh does not mean noon. It doesn't mean noon here. It doesn't mean noon there. It doesn't mean noon there. It doesn't mean noon here. Gosh, most of these aren't. Wow. Or here. Where are the strong dagesh? Or there. Huh. Or there. Oh, no. This one is a missing noon. Anta. Anta. That is okay. So 2 missing noons in this text right here. But the rest of them, like this one, is probably a missing. Oh no! I take this one back. This one might be a missing noon. And anyway, I'm having fun now. I'm just going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for coming and studying Hebrew. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Yes, question.
What's the reading for next week?
It's going to be the one that follows Bo.
Okay, that's enough.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and just explicitly, let's see, Bo. It's going to be Beshalach, which is on page 1152. 1150. And if somebody wants to, put a picture on there, great, on the Telegram to let us know. Judges 4:4 to 531. Judges 4:4 to 531.
Okay.
And this, of course, that's the Ashkenazis. If we're going with the Sephardim, they continue. Oh, I see. It's a short one if you're Ashkenazi. It's a long one if you're Sephardic. All right, Judges 4:4. Look forward to seeing you all next week. Until then, Yitrot v'shalom.
Shalom. Thank you.
Thank you,
Shalom.
Jared.
Bye.
Ciao.